my esteemed viewers. You're welcome to Medical Science Lecture Room. Here we try to keep you informed on science and medical matters at the comfort of your living room. You'll be taught on medicine and science. Today's discussion will be centered on how to calculate your ovulation period, safe and unsafe period. This is very important for every female child, even to the male child, especially for those who expect to have babies, those who expect to get pregnant. This topic is very important for you because it will help you to meet your man, to have sex with your husband at the right time. Most persons who have infertility problem, they might be meeting their husband at the wrong time, or they may be intercourse at the wrong time, which is why this topic is very, very important. Once again, my name is Dr. Godwin Obono. In case you're new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel, turn on your notification button so that once we make new videos, you'll be first to be notified. Again, share, like the video. Let's begin. For you to know how to calculate the ovulation day, safe period, there is need for you to know the length of your menstrual cycle. For most women do not know the length of their menstrual cycle, and if you don't know the length of your menstrual cycle, it's not possible, or it will be difficult for you to know when you are fertile or when your ovulation, the date of your ovulation. So that's why I want to remind you on how to calculate the length of your menstrual cycle. There is a very comprehensive video on that, but for the purpose of this discussion, I will want to remind you. Now, if we take this for instance as the calendar, as a month, let's say the month of January. If we take this to be the month of January, and want to use this to explain how to get the length of your menstrual cycle. For some women, the length of their menstrual cycle is 21, while for some it's 30 days. There are some who have 28 days. The average is always 28 days. But remember, normal date length of menstrual cycle is 28 plus minus 7 days. And that, of course, this will give you 21 minus 35 days. This is normal. There are some persons who have 21 days, while some 26 days. All of that will fall within this range, and that is normal. There are some persons that whose menstrual cycle may not be regular, while there are some have a regular menstrual length. How do you know that there is regularity in your menstrual cycle? It is when, for instance, a woman has 21 day cycle, the next month she's 21, the next is 21. You can now see that because she constantly have 21 days cycle, you said this cycle is regular. But there are some women that will have 21 this month, next month it will be 35, next month it will be 26. For such women, there is irregularity in their menstrual cycle. So, this is what in order for you to calculate your menstrual cycle length, to know the number of days in your menstrual cycle, you will have to consider the first day of your menstrual bleeding. And you will do that for 6 months. Now, for instance, the woman, assuming a woman that do not know the length of her menstrual cycle, and she want to determine that on a month of what? On the month of January. Now, that month of January, for instance, she started bleeding on the 4th of January, and on this 4th of January, will be the first day of her menstrual cycle. The 4th of January, she started bleeding. That day will be the first day of her menstrual bleeding or menstrual cycle. Now, that same woman, the next menstrual bleeding was on the 31st. The next menstrual bleeding was on the 31st of January. Remember, I said the first, because as at the time she want to calculate this, it was she noticed that she started bleeding on the on the 4th of January. That 4th of January becomes the first day. Now the next time she started bleeding, it was on the 31st of January, because you need to consider these 2 dates, because the length of menstrual cycle is considered to be the number of days from the first day of menstrual bleeding to the day before the next menstrual bleeding. So the first day of menstrual bleeding was on the 4th. The next menstrual bleeding was what? On the 31st. So she has to calculate the number of days, count the number of days from the 4th. Now if I'm counting, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Now you see that for that woman, the length of her menstrual cycle is 27. Remember, the next menstrual bleeding was what? On the 31st. 31st, this day is not inclusive. It has to be the day before this day, and that was what? 30th. So we counted from the 4th to what? 30 on the 30th of January, and we had what? 27 days. These 27 days now make up the length of that woman's menstrual cycle. Supposing the woman repeats this the next month, which is February, the next one again, that is March, and she does that for 6 months. And if she realized that she kept having 27, 27, 27, it means that she has a regular, she will now conclude that her length of menstrual cycle is 27, and it is what? Regular. But supposing on January it was 27, February 29, let's say March 30, then like that she kept having the dates, the number of days changing. It means that she has irregular menstrual cycle. Now, but which of them will she consider as the length of her menstrual cycle? Let her look for the shortest menstrual cycle, the shortest of all. Supposing we continue to have 27, 29, 30, 31, 31, 28, and so on, and the shortest appears to be 27, then she will conclude that her length of her menstrual cycle is 27. So for you to know the length of your menstrual cycle, you have to repeat it within 6 months, and then look for the shortest. The shortest one gives you the length of your menstrual cycle, and if that shortest one continue to repeat itself, you now conclude that your menstrual cycle is one regular. But for those whose that shortest one do not repeat itself, it kept changing, for such persons you said their menstrual cycle length is irregular. They have an irregular menstrual cycle. So today we will be looking at how to calculate the ovulation day, the unsafe period, and the unsafe period for a woman whose menstrual cycle is irregular. So I want to quickly teach you or tell you how to calculate the unsafe period, the ovulation period. But before you do that, you must know the length of your menstrual cycle. So that woman that wants to know when she is safe, when she is not safe, when to meet the husband, when she is not to meet her husband, when the husband is to meet the wife, such you must know the length of your menstrual cycle. So supposing we say L, let L represent the length of the menstrual cycle. That means if the woman's length of her menstrual cycle is 28, then L will be 28. If it's 21, then L will be 21. If it is 29, L will be 29. Which is why I had to teach you how to calculate the length of menstrual cycle first. Now, we need to know now when the first day of the fetal period. Remember that fetal period has number of days. It's not just a day. It has number of days, a range of days. So we need to know the first day. For you to know that first day, let that first day be X. Let's say X is equal to the beginning of fetal period. Remember that fetal period is what? The unsafe period. Please take note. Fetal period is the same as unsafe period. So we want to know the first day of the unsafe period. The first day. Remember that it is not just one day. It is number of days. range of days. So we want to know the very first day in that range. That is represented with the letter X. And how do we get it? X will be equal to L minus 18. Take note. So when you know the length of your menstrual cycle, you minus 18 from it. That will give you the first day of the unsafe period. The unsafe period can be calculated or determined by simply using the length of your menstrual cycle to subtract to minus 18. Once that is done, you've gotten what? The first day of the fetal period, the first day of the unsafe period. Now, when you have gotten the first day of the unsafe period, you equally need to know the last day of the unsafe period, the last day of the fetal period. But before you do that, you have to know the ovulation day. How do we know the ovulation day? Let's say that Y is equal to the ovulation day. Remember, ovulation day is not a range, it's just one day. It's a day. So we now say ovulation day. How do we get the day of ovulation? We say the day of ovulation Y can be calculated or determined or known by simply saying that X plus 4. You adding 4 to whatever the answer here is. Remember that X is by subtracting 18 from the length of your menstrual cycle. When you have done that, you've gotten the first day of the fetal period. That answer, that first day, once you have 4 to it, you will get the ovulation day. And that's why I have written this way. I say where X is the first day or the first day of your menstrual of the fetal period. Remember, the fetal period is the unsafe period. This is the X, the first day. When you add 4 to it, it gives you what? An answer, or it gives you a value. That value represents the day of ovulation. Now, having done that, the next thing you want to know is what? The end of fetal period. Remember, we said fetal period is a range of days. It's not one day. Unlike ovulation day, that is one day. But fetal period, which is unsafe period, is a range of days. Means that it can be 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We want to know when it will end for that woman. And so to do so, you will say, let Z represent the end of fetal period. Now, the end of fetal period, Z, how do we get it? For you to get it, you should have known the ovulation day. And once you've known the ovulation day, which is Y, let's say Y plus 5. The moment you add 5 to the ovulation day, it means therefore that whatever you have becomes the end of the fetal period, the unsafe period. This simply tells us that the fetal period, therefore, has to be the first day toward the last day, where the first day is X and the last day is what? The Z. Now, if you also equally notice that from the first day to the last day, we added what? 9. We added 9. Sometimes people ask the question, why adding 4? Why adding 5? Now, those numbers are added with the consciousness of how long the sperm will stay in the womb or in the woman. How long the sperm, when after sex, how long is going to stay, and how long the egg will stay when it has been released from the ovaries. So these are the reason or the consciousness of this. It's why that inform the addition of 4, and addition of what? 5. Now, so at this point, the fetal period, which of course we say it is the same thing as the unsafe period, is equal to, or it's the range is X to what's the Z. Let's take the next example. Now, let's assume we have a woman whose length of menstrual cycle is 25. The length of her menstrual cycle is 25. And you want to now know when she is fetal and when she is not fetal, when she is safe, when she is not safe, and ovulation day. Now, again, you need to know the beginning of our fetal period. The beginning of our fetal period. Remember, we said it has to be what? L minus 18. That means this will be what? 25 minus 18. And 25 minus 18, of course, that will be what? 7. It will be 7. 25 minus 18 will give you what? 7. That tells you that on the 7th day of this woman menstrual cycle, the 7th day is the beginning of our unsafe period, the beginning of our fertile period. Now let's look at the day is expected to ovulate. That day, of course, we say let it be y. That will be equal to x plus 4, and that will be 7 plus 4. That will give us 11. So it means that on the 11th day, that woman is expected to ovulate. Then let's think again. When will our fertile or unsafe period end? That, of course, we say let it be z, and that is equal to 11 plus 5. That will be on the 16th day. The 16th day, the woman is expected to end our fertile or unsafe period. Now let's again go back to the month and use it to explain this. Now remember that when we say 16 here, we are not saying the 16th of the month. When we say 11, we are not saying the 11th day of the month. No, we are looking at the cycle of that woman. Now in this case, the woman has a cycle that is 25 days. Now supposing in this case we say the woman started menstruating on the 1st. Okay, let me now say, let's assume the woman started menstruating this day. Now let's take it that the woman first day of her menstruation was on the 5th of this month. Supposing this month, you can say this month is a month that has 31 days. It doesn't matter even if it is 30 days. But we are saying that the woman started bleeding on the 5th day of a month, of that month. On the 5th day of that month. Now, this will be the beginning of our 25-day menstrual cycle. Now, for us to know, we have to calculate count the number of days from this first day. Now, if I count, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This is the end of our menstrual cycle. That woman, the end of our menstrual cycle is expected to be on the 29th, and she's expected to menstruate again either from the 30th. So for 25-day cycle, we are counting from the day she started bleeding to the day before the next menstrual bleeding. The next menstrual bleeding is taken from here. It's taken to be on the 30th of this month. So before the day before that day will be the end of the previous menstrual cycle. And so we've counted 21 days. Now, between this day and this day, we want to find out which day will she be safe. Which days will she be safe? What are the days which day will she ovulate? Now, from our calculation here, we have said that on the 7th day, this woman is expected to on the 7th day of our menstrual cycle, that becomes the beginning of our fertile period. Now let's count the 7th day. This is the first day, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So that means this is X, where X represents the beginning of our fertile period. That means from the 11th of this month, this woman is supposed to stay away from sex if she's not expecting pregnant a baby. But if she wants to get pregnant, she can go in. But if she doesn't want to get pregnant, she should stay away from sex. That's what it means from the 11th of this month. Now, having known that, let's see where she is to ovulate, the expected day of ovulation on the 11th day. Now, we count again. We say this is 7. Remember, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 11th. This day is the ovulation day. She's expected to ovulate on the 15th of this month. On the 15th of this month, whether it is January, whatever month it is that this happens, it means on the 15th day of this month, she's expected to ovulate. Now, again, when will our fertile period or unsafe period end? We say it's on the 16th day. So what we do now again, remember when we counted, we say this is 11 from here. from here we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the 16th day. Here it will form what? This is Z. This is Z. That means on the 20th of this month, that is when our unsafe period will end. They say as unsafe period, this woman unsafe period started on the 11th of this month. It ends on the 20th of this month, and she ovulated on the 15th of this month. It means that between this month, this very month, it means that the woman, if she wants to get pregnant, she has to meet a man between this day and this day, which of course from 11, 12, 13 to the 20th of this month, she can, once she gets in, she goes in, she's going to get pregnant. Now, but before this day, which of course before this day, she will not get pregnant. Remember that X is the beginning of her fertile period. Before this day, which is this day, from 1, 2, 3 like this to this day, she's not going to get pregnant. She will be very safe. If she want to have it all every day, she will not get pregnant. Now again, after the end here, you see, after the end, if you count the days again, from here you count 21, you count all these days to this point, she's equally safe. She is safe after this day, she is safe before this day. Let's take another example. If we have a woman whose length of menstrual cycle is 21 days, and we want to counsel or advise the woman when she is to meet her husband since she wants to get pregnant, we need to know when she is unsafe, and we equally need to know when she's expected to ovulate. And so we will apply the formulas or the calculation I've told you earlier. So now L in this case is what? 21. We want to know the beginning of our unsafe period. Of course, that is X, and it will be L minus 18. That will be 21 minus 18. That is equal to 3. Remember that these 3 represent the 3rd day of that woman's menstrual cycle. It is not the 3rd day of the month. No, it is the 3rd day of the woman's menstrual cycle. I will explain, I will interpret it with the days in the month soon. But for now, we have known that the 3rd day of that woman's menstrual cycle is the beginning of our unsafe period. Now, let's find out the ovulation day. That has to be what? X plus 4, like I said before, and that is what? 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. This 7 tells us the 7th day of that woman's menstrual cycle. It is not the 7th day of the month. No. Now let's look at calculate when our unsafe period will end. Remember, I told you that the unsafe period is what? A range of days, not just a day. It is a number of days. We have seen when that will begin. We want to know when it will end. And so that will be what? Z equal to Y plus 7. And we said that will be what? 7 plus 7. And that of course will be what? 7 plus 5. 7 plus 5. 7 plus 5 will be what? 12. Take that again. We added 3 to this and we got 7. This 7 is the 7th day of what? This 7 represents the ovulation day. And then we want to know the end of our unsafe period. The end of our unsafe period has to be what? 7 plus 5. 7 plus 5 will give us what? 12. So on the 12th day of our menstrual cycle, the woman is expected to our safety. Our unsafe period ends on the 12th day of our menstrual cycle. So let's go to the take a particular month of the year. Supposing we take this represent our calendar month, and let's assume this is the month of January, and we want to now we assume that the woman started bleeding on the 2nd. Let's say on the 2nd of this month, that's when she started bleeding. Now remember that we were told that the woman has a 21-day cycle. It means that from this day to the day she started bleeding to the day before her next menstrual bleeding, it's the number of days will be 21. No, in other words, the number of days from this second of this month to the next menstrual bleeding, the day before the next menstrual bleeding, you have a total of 21 days. So if we are to count, this will be first number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is the end of that menstrual cycle. It began from the second it began on the second, and it ends on the 22nd of this month. It means that for that woman, the next menstrual bleeding is likely going to be on the 23rd. But that's why we say the day before that day is the day that should be considered. So when you count from the beginning to this day before the next one, you now see that we have a total of 21 days. Now we saw that on the third day will be the beginning of our unsafe period. We now find out what is the third day. Now this is the first day. This will be what? This is first, second, third. Now on this day, that will be what? X. That means this is the day that she will be unsafe. From this day, the woman is unsafe. Such a woman, if she wants to get pregnant, she can begin to have sex from this day. But if she doesn't want to be pregnant, she will stay away from sex from this day. So our unsafe period begins from the 4th of this month. Remember, we had 3 here. These 3 do not represent the 3rd of this month. These 3 represent the third day of our menstrual cycle, and the 3rd day of our menstrual cycle is the 4th of this month. We counted from the day she started bleeding. 1, 2, 3. That becomes what? The 3rd day of our menstrual cycle, and that represents the beginning of our unsafe period. Then we now want to find out the day she will expect to ovulate, and now we said that will be on the 7th day. Now again, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you now see that ovulation day is expected to be on the what? On the 8th of this month. She's expected to ovulate. And on the date of this date, she's expected to ovulate, and you know that it's still part of the unsafe period. It means that she's still not safe at this point. Of course, ovulation day is the peak of expectation. That's where where there is high risk. If you want to get pregnant, that is the most likely day that you expect to have sex. So this is also part of the unsafe period. Now when you move on the day the fetal or unsafe period will end is on the 12th day of our menstrual cycle. So we again go ahead. Remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You see, this is the end of on the 13th day, 13th of this month. The 13th of this month is the end of our unsafe period. Remember, the 13th of this month is the 12th day of our menstrual cycle. On the 13th of this month is the 12th day of our menstrual cycle, and that is the day our unsafe period will end. Now, the question is that when is she then safe? She will be safe after this day. That is to say, from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, she is very safe. She is safe at this point, and she's also safe before the first day, which is on the first. She's safe on the first. She's safe before the first day of bleeding. She's safe. Of course, we have only a day there, and after the unsafe period, all these days she's equally safe. So if she is expecting pregnancy, she wants to get pregnant, the period she should meet her husband should be between this day, which is the fourth day of the month, toward the 13th day. The 4th day on the 4th of this month to the 13th day of this month. That is the day she should expect. If she wants to get pregnant, she should meet her husband at that time. But if the woman that doesn't want to get pregnant, she has to avoid this date, from this day to this day. She has to avoid, and she can have sex before this day and after this day. So I want to believe that you have understanding on how to calculate your unsafe period, the ovulation day, and also how to calculate the length of your menstrual cycle. In case you have any question, please do not fail to drop your comment or question on the comment section. And if I also request that you check for other videos that we have made. I have told you earlier that this channel try to teach you, we try to teach you medicine and science at the comfort of your living room. So if you find this video of value to you, please do not fail to subscribe, do not fail to like it and share. Thank you.